Yo, what up, everybody? It is your boy FitzMonkTV here, aka Lauren33. I am back here today with your SmackDown live review for April 9th, 2020. This is the first SmackDown live post WrestleMania 36. It still feels weird to say that because, WrestleMania was this past weekend, even though it didn't feel like WrestleMania at all. And you guys would know my thoughts on that if you guys have watched any of my videos. Before we get into SmackDown tonight, I'm only going to be focusing on two things from SmackDown. I'm not even going to be talking about the Forgotten Sons. I'm not going to be talking about Shinsuke Nakamura versus Strowman. I'm not going to be talking about the SmackDown Tag Team Championships or that terrible Women's Tag Team Championship match. I'm not going to be talking about any of that nonsense. I'm only going to be focusing on two things, which we'll be getting into in just a sec. I want to thank you guys for the love and support this week. You guys killed it this weekend with the WrestleMania reactions and the review. If you guys haven't yet, go check out the WrestleMania review from night 1 and night 2. Those were two of the best reviews we've done all year. So definitely go check it out. I went off. Also, if you guys haven't checked out my Monday Night Raw review post WrestleMania 36, the way I'm thinking about doing these videos going forward, and this is more specifically for SmackDown reviews. Monday Night Raw reviews are going to stay the same. I usually do them live, but probably until this whole situation with the virus is under control and we can have a little bit of leeway with the social distancing and we can have more fans in the crowd, even if it's to the point where we can only have fans in the performance center and not have them in massive arenas. Because let's be serious here, things are not going to be back to normal for a long time. Like, I went to the market today and it felt so weird. Everyone's in face masks. There was a guy that tried to get a Stop and Shop employee fired because the guy was doing his job and he accidentally got next to a man, like right 3 feet near him, and the customer panicked and went off. This is crazy. And this is the effect of the coronavirus is gonna, stay with us for years. It's not just gonna go away once, our economy starts back up and the social distancing, laws are, no longer in effect. The effects of this virus are gonna, be with us for a long time. Even when the sports leagues start back up and they start having fans in the arenas once again, it's gonna be a while till we have sellouts or shows that are sold out, because there's going to be people that are nervous and are going to be scared to actually go to shows because the virus isn't going to be controlled until we get a vaccine, which won't be until next year. So once those laws and the restrictions are taken out, people are still going to get the virus. People are still going to get sick. It's just going to be about finding out who those people are and putting them in quarantine. That's the big thing right now. And it's crazy. We still probably have at least another month of lockdown, and it's wild, and it's gonna affect WWE. I don't know if WWE will have a sold out show till SummerSlam. If things go back to normal in May or in June or whenever, because it's just crazy. People are not gonna want to go to sports shows. They're not gonna want to take the risk. But yeah, I was honestly thinking watching SmackDown tonight when things start getting back to some form of normalcy. I won't be surprised if WWE is still not able to do shows in arenas. They might have to just fill the performance center with fans, and do it that way for a little bit. I would not be surprised, But getting into SmackDown, this was the first SmackDown after WrestleMania 36. Braun Strowman starting his reign as Universal Champion. And even though I crapped all over Braun Strowman and the Goldberg match, and it's just another thing after seeing what they did tonight, and it looks like we're getting Braun Strowman versus The Fiend as the championship program for the Universal Championship going into the early summer months. I'm not against it. I'm not against it at all. I don't care for a Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt match, and we'll discuss that a little bit more in a little bit, but definitely the story is there. And Bray Wyatt, he showed me how great a storyteller he is with the Firefly Funhouse match he did with John Cena. I know that Bruce Pritchard and John Cena, they gave their ideas, but for the most part, this was, Bray Wyatt's match. He came up with the ideas, and definitely, they hit a home run. It was absolutely fantastic for what it was. I don't even know if it was a match, but whatever it was, a match, a movie, whatever you want to call it, it was done fantastically. And knowing the level of storytelling that Bray Wyatt can tell in the ring, I feel like no matter who you put him in a feud with, he can tell a fantastic story because he's just that great. He has that creative mindset, and it just pissing me off a little bit more that WWE took the Universal Championship off him for Goldberg. Honestly, after what I saw from Goldberg at WrestleMania, I never want to see Goldberg in a ring again. It was one thing when he did the squash match with Brock Lesnar. His best match was when he faced off against Lesnar at WrestleMania 33, I believe. Was that already 3 years ago? Crazy, yeah. I think it was WrestleMania 33. I'm in Orlando. But any of the other matches he had, no matter if it was against Ziggler or Taker or Strowman or Wyatt, all the matches are the same. They're just squash matches. He doesn't actually wrestle. He just goes for his finisher. Like, at this point, I don't want to see Goldberg back in the ring again. I'm tired of it. Lesnar does it sometimes, but I can understand why they did it with Lesnar and McIntyre. I definitely want to see Lesnar and McIntyre having another match down the line and actually show everyone what they can do, But Goldberg, it's the same thing every single match. He goes for the spear right away. It's stupid. I hate it, and I don't want to see it anymore. And, as much as I hated Strowman versus Goldberg, I think putting the title on Strowman in the meanwhile, especially with the story they're going to tell with him and Wyatt, it's not a bad move. The only thing is, I just would have had Wyatt as the champion. I would have done Wyatt versus Cena at Mania for the Universal title. Have that, story with John Cena chasing number 17. And, Wyatt tried to get his payback. Do what you did there. And then have, Wyatt then enter into a feud with Strowman going to the summer. And we'll talk about Strowman and Wyatt in just a little bit, but I just wanted to give that a little bit of an opening thought. But I'm not going to go through SmackDown. Like I said, I don't care about really anything else to happen on the show. It's just with these performance center shows, I just want to focus on the big things. And the Forgotten Sons making their debut. Let's be serious. They're gonna be basically WWE's version of Sanity. They're legit a downgrade of Sanity, and then Sanity was buried within 2 weeks on the main roster. Let's see how quickly WWE buries the Forgotten Sons. What else happened? We had I guess they're trying to continue the storyline with Otis, Dolph, Mandy, and Sonya. I don't really care for it. I'm happy that Otis and Mandy are together. All I really care now is mainly what they do with Mandy and Sonya. I kind of want to see those two go at it, but I don't care about anything else. We had a horrible tag team championship match between Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross against the Kubaki Warriors. You guys know how I feel about the women's tag team championships. They pretty much mean nothing on the main roster. Later on, they had Carmella and Dana Brooke, who were making their return to WWE TV because both stars were not able to be at Mania because they were on quarantine. All of a sudden, Carmella and Dana Brooke are now a tag team, and now they're challenging Nikki and Alexa for the women's tag team titles. Alright, so I guess the second they put the titles on Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, WWE cares about the tag team division again. Carmella and Dana Brooke aren't even a tag team, It seems like WWE is just going to put random women together and then have them go after the women's tag titles. I don't really care, so whatever there as well. What else happened on this show? They had some Jeff Hardy, I don't know, they went through Jeff Hardy's history in the ring. Like, I think they called it Jeff Hardy The Rise, going through his history in WWE. I don't care. I still don't even care that Jeff Hardy's back. I didn't even watch. What else happened on this show, to be honest? Oh yeah, they announced that next week we will be having another SmackDown Tag Team Championship match between The Miz and Morrison going up against Biggie of the New Day and I think it's Jey Uso. So basically, At WrestleMania, they had a fantastic triple threat ladder match between Morrison, Kingston, and Jimmy Uso. So now they're just doing the reverse this time. I don't mind it because the match at Mania was so good. I don't think a second match between Big E, Miz, and Jimmy will be as good as the tag team ladder match. It's not a ladder. I'm happy it's not a ladder match because honestly, we're seeing a lot of ladder matches since it's Money in the Bank season. We know Money in the Bank is in a couple months, and we just had a ladder match this week on NXT between the NXT women to determine the NXT Women's Championship #1 contender, and we also had the Triple Threat SmackDown Tag Team title match at Mania. So I'm kind of glad it's not a ladder match or anything like that, but I don't really care. It should be a good match. It's just I don't really care. I'll say this: I am, slowly becoming a fan of Miz and Morrison. They are actually pretty entertaining together. I'm not gonna lie. I definitely think Miz and Morrison are gonna win next week. I expect Miz to get the win. Maybe Morrison provides a distraction or something like that. They are heels, so I wouldn't be surprised. I think WWE's gonna build up heavy machinery to be the ones to take those titles off of Miz and Morrison. It could be the Usos. I don't think the New Day, like I said, the New Day just lost those titles back in February. I don't see them regaining them. It's either going to be the Usos or, in my pick, would be Heavy Machinery eventually sometime this summer. Probably at SummerSlam if WWE can be that patient. But yeah, getting into the two big things I want to talk about on SmackDown. I just wanted to run through the non-essential stuff. Or the stuff I didn't really find as essential. I hate these empty performance center shows, but at least I'll give WWE credit. They are, slowly trying to build towards Money in the Bank. And it looks like right now, Money in the Bank's most likely to take place inside the performance center. There's a chance it could take place somewhere else, but it would have to depend on how the social distancing laws look after May 4th. Because we know that most states have all their social distancing laws in effect till May 4th. So we'll just have to wait and see, what's going on with those situations. But getting into things itself, I will say this: WWE, they're bringing back Money in the Bank qualifiers. In the last couple years, we've had them just randomly announce who's going to be in the Money in the Bank ladder matches. I'm actually glad that we're getting qualifier matches. Because the Money in the Bank is an important match. Like I said, Money in the Bank is one of the big 5 pay-per-views. Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and we put Money in the Bank. Because Money in the Bank is legit the night where you could guarantee yourself a title shot anytime, anywhere. And it's also a night where we also usually see 1 or 2 new world champions. It's become the last couple years that the person who wins the Money in the Bank ladder match, there's a chance that they cash in that very same night. We saw it with Dean Ambrose back in, I think it was 2016 or 2017. We saw it in last year when Alexa Bliss won the match. Or no, 2 years ago when Alexa Bliss won the match and cashed in on Nia Jax. And we saw it last year with BAYLEY when she won the Money in the Bank ladder match and cashed in there that same night on Charlotte. We had 3 of the 4 horsewomen hold the SmackDown Women's title that same night. Becky walked in, that Charlotte beat her, and then BAYLEY beat her by cashing in, which was actually a fantastic moment. Because a lot of people thought, hey, they gave BAYLEY the SmackDown Women's title to get back at Sasha for walking out of the company at the time when Sasha was taking her 4-month hiatus. I don't know. But the Money in the Bank ladder match is important, so I'm kind of glad that we're doing qualifier matches again. But getting into the big things I wanted to talk about. Speak of the Money in the Bank, especially the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. Most of us already have a favorite for who's going to win the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And it's in my opinion, the best female wrestler, not in the world right now, but the best female wrestler of all time, Sasha freaking Banks. Alright? A lot of us, saw what happened at WrestleMania. And we saw the seeds have been planted for Sasha Banks and BAYLEY. Dave Meltzer reported that Sasha Banks is set to turn babyface for her feud with BAYLEY. And people were wondering how that was going to happen because we know that one of them have to turn on each other so we can establish a clear babyface because we don't want a heel Sasha versus a heel BAYLEY. And we all thought it would be more likely for Sasha to be the babyface, just because one, Sasha and Bayley, they've faced off many times in the past. You know, the best women's match of all time, NXT Takeover Brooklyn, and we've seen Bayley as the face against Sasha as the heel. You know, and it would be easy to turn Bayley back into a babyface and have Sasha be the heel, because Sasha's naturally a better, you know, heel. But, you know, it would feel a little bit repetitive. So this is something we've never seen before. We've never seen Sasha's the babyface against a heel Bayley, you know. And the seeds were planted at WrestleMania, you know, when Lacey Evans hit Sasha with the woman's right and Bayley let Sasha get eliminated. She could have easily broke up the pin. And they continued planting those seeds tonight. So Sasha came out looking beautiful as ever. You know, I'm going to say this for the record. I'm more of a fan with Sasha with the curly hair than Sasha when her hair is straight. But she's still beautiful, you know, nonetheless. But Sasha came out looking as beautiful as ever. Bayley came out. She was bragging how she's still the champion. And Sasha and Bayley cut a promo basically on Paige and the fans, for everyone that believed that she would lose her title at WrestleMania in the Fatal 5-Way Elimination match, and for everyone that thought that her and Sasha's friendship would be broken. Well, you can definitely see the cracks starting to form after what we saw tonight. There's basically a moment where Sasha said "screw you" to the fans. You know, even though we know she doesn't actually mean that, because that's just her character. Speaking of "screw you," Ronda Rousey was on a podcast earlier today, and she actually said WWE has some of the most ungrateful fans ever. You know, I don't know. I might make a separate video on it, depending if you guys want. In the comment section, let me know if I should make a video on that. But definitely, I found that kind of interesting. Ronda Rousey told the fans, "screw them," you know. Because Ronda Rousey said, so if she does come back to WWE, it would not be in a full-time capacity. Even though, yes, she was kind of full-time, but she only did like a couple house shows, you know, here and there. She was at every single Raw, but I believe she only wrestled like 70 matches in her, you know, in the 1 year she was in WWE. When you have people like Sasha Banks and others who are on the road, you know, over 200 days a year, and they're wrestling every single night. So I'm not trying to get on Ronda Rousey, but I kind of found it funny how she just absolutely went, you know, unloaded on the fans. We know, you know, Ronda Rousey's value to WWE. She definitely helped, because if it wasn't for her, the woman would have not. They wouldn't have got the main event at WrestleMania 35. We all know that, you know, unless it was like the four horsewomen in a Fatal 4-Way match. We know the woman would have never gotten the main event if it wasn't for Ronda Rousey. You can definitely say the same thing about them getting Evolution, you know, their own pay-per-view. Even though I do think we're probably going to have another all-women's pay-per-view possibly later this year, depending on when these, you know, how's everything's going with the virus and all that. But getting back to Sasha and Bayley, yeah, so Sasha told the fans basically "screw you," and out of nowhere Tamina came out. You know, Bayley was like, "Yeah, I've beaten everybody," and then Tamina came out. At first, I was like, "Oh my gosh, Tamina," because I don't care about Tamina. We haven't seen her on WWE TV consistently in over a year. You know, back when I think she was teaming up with Nia Jax, you know, last spring. But yeah. You know, Tamina comes out. I don't know if Tamina's a babyface or heel. Like, I honestly can't tell what she is. But Tamina came out, and at first I was like, but then I was like, okay, I can see where they're going with this. You know, and I gotta give WWE credit. You know, they made this a very simple and effective, you know, segment, because you can see the cracks forming with the relationship between Sasha Banks and Bayley. So what happens is, and I'm kind of also glad, because I've gotten tired of the Naomi and Lacey Evans, you know, for like the last month. For months, all we've seen is Lacey Evans and Naomi constantly. I'm kind of glad we're seeing, you know, a new opponent for Bayley here. But as much as I don't really like Tamina, it's a fresh opponent, so I'm not going to really complain too much. But Tamina came out and said, "You didn't beat me at WrestleMania. Nobody beat me." Even though she sounds retarded by saying that, everybody hit their finisher on Tamina. All of them hit their finishers on Tamina, and she got eliminated by all 4 members in that match: Sasha, Bayley, Lacey, and Naomi. So you sound stupid by saying that, Tamina. But anyway, she said none of you beat me at Mania. And thing is, he says, Bayley, if you're such a role model, face me 1-on-1 for that women's championship. And then Sasha and Bayley, more Bayley, Bayley's scared, and she says, alright, I'm such a role model, I will give you your title shot. But all you have to do is beat Sasha. And then Sasha's face told the whole story. The commentator's reaction told the whole story. And then I'll give credit to Tamina as well. Tamina did a really good job basically expressing what everyone at home at that moment was feeling. You could see the cracks right there forming in Sasha and Bayley's relationship. Tamina was like sister, because Tamina and Sasha have history. They were in Team Bad when Sasha first came up to the main roster. They had that moment at WrestleMania where Sasha, Naomi, and Tamina had a 10-second reunion when they went like, Unity! I hope you guys like my little Unity impression. Unity! Anyway, but yeah, after that, Tamina basically said, sister, look at your best friend. She's screwing you. Because you could tell Sasha was like, wait, what? Sasha doesn't want to have a match with Tamina next week. It'll be a good match probably because it's Sasha Banks. I saw something on the internet this week about all the current female superstars and their combined days as champ, and Sasha Banks is at number 10 with 80 days, even though she's the best female wrestler in the world. And you guys can hear the anger in my voice starting to rise up. I'm gonna do a video on it eventually, because it got me really pissed off. But yeah, if Sasha Banks can have a good match with Nia Jax, she can have a good match with Tamina. If you ask anybody on the women's roster who was their best match with, who's wrestled Sasha Banks in a 1-on-1 match, they will say Sasha Banks without a doubt. So definitely what I think is going to happen, and definitely with Money in the Bank coming up, definitely I could see Sasha's going to win Money in the Bank. She's really the only logical favorite at this point in time to win the Money in the Bank briefcase. She doesn't need to win the Money in the Bank briefcase, of course, but definitely if she's in the match, she's definitely probably the favorite to win, But yeah, next week we're getting Tamina and Sasha. You can see the cracks there. Sasha doesn't want to face Tamina next week. She was talking to Bayley like, what are you doing? And I was tweeting on Twitter. I'm like, all right, so if Sasha's gonna turn babyface, this is the start. Bayley is using her friendship with Sasha to keep her hold on the title, because Bayley, Sasha, and everyone else knows that Sasha is easily Bayley's biggest threat to the title. Bayley's defeated basically everybody else on SmackDown other than Sasha, because Sasha has chosen to stick by Bayley's side and not go after the championship herself. Because most of us know Sasha would definitely take the title from her. So you can see the cracks forming in the relationship. Sasha always has Bayley's back, no matter if it's against Lacey or Naomi or Tamina or anybody else. After getting eliminated from the match at WrestleMania, Sasha came back to the ring just to ensure that Bayley would win. And I'm kind of interested, or I'm kind of surprised that they haven't talked about this. Remember when Bayley eliminated, or not when Lacey eliminated Sasha at WrestleMania, Bayley could have easily broken up the pin, but she let Sasha get eliminated. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't brought up that footage yet. They didn't really make any mention of it. So maybe they're just saving it for a little bit later this summer. But you can definitely see Bayley is using her friendship with Sasha to keep the SmackDown Women's Championship. Because Sasha doesn't want to face Tamina. Bayley didn't even ask Sasha if she wanted to have the match. She just made it. So you could definitely see. And then Tamina saying, oh, sister, you screwed me. I mean, that's not what Tamina said. What the hell am I saying? Tamina said, sister, your best friends just screwed you. And we were all thinking the same thing watching at home. because I don't want to see Tamina beat Sasha next week, but it's probably going to happen. Maybe based off interference by Bayley or some kind of distraction or what up, because I don't see Tamina beating Sasha clean. It's going to be interesting. We'll just have to wait till next week, but the cracks are slowly starting to form. And if the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match does happen and Sasha's in the match, Sasha's definitely the favorite to win. And then going to the summer, you could have Sasha teasing, cashing in, or then Bayley, because it's gonna happen. Bayley's eventually gonna turn on Sasha. It's gonna happen, turning Sasha into a babyface. And then us getting Sasha and Bayley at SummerSlam. And I've been saying this on Twitter. I said this on the WrestleMania review. I'm gonna do everything in my power to advocate Sasha and Bayley being the main event of SummerSlam. It's gonna be in Sasha's hometown of Boston. All right. It's going to be one of the best, if not the best, female wrestling match of the year, because we've been waiting for this feud to happen on the main roster for years now. It was supposed to happen at WrestleMania. I'm glad it didn't happen at WrestleMania because of what's going on with the coronavirus. And definitely, if WWE plays this out slowly, because we have about 4 months till SummerSlam, slowly throughout the summer, the cracks are going to form between Sasha and Bayley and their relationship. And eventually, Sasha's not going to take it from Bayley anymore. Bayley's then going to turn on Sasha. Sasha's going to turn babyface. And that's going to set up for Sasha and Bayley to happen at SummerSlam. And Sasha will finally end Bayley's women's title reign. So definitely, it was done effectively. I like it. As long as WWE does it right, we're in for one hell of a summer with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Alright, the last thing. So the last thing I want to talk about here on the podcast tonight is Braun Strowman versus Bray Wyatt. We had Braun Strowman versus Shinsuke Nakamura in a one-on-one match with Cesaro at ringside, which was the last match, the main event of the evening. Shinsuke challenged Strowman earlier in the night, and at first I was like, is this going to be a title match? That's what I thought, they were going to do, and they talked about basically how last time Nakamura and Strowman were in the ring, Sami Zayn defeated Strowman for the IC title at Elimination Chamber. Remember, Strowman wasn't even supposed to be on the WrestleMania card. Strowman did say when opportunity presents itself, you have to take it. So they're not talking about Roman backing out of WrestleMania, but there's Strowman just saying, hey, Roman decided not to do WrestleMania, and Strowman took the opportunity and became champion. As bad as the match was, Strowman is our Universal Champion, and we have to accept it. There was talk about Bray Wyatt versus Strowman earlier this year. I think they were planning on doing that, as a feud before we got Bray Wyatt and Roman at Mania. But remember, all the plans changed, and then they decided to make the horrible decision to get Goldberg the Universal Championship. And I don't want to talk about it. I've ranted on that enough. But getting into things with Bray Wyatt and Strowman, Strowman defeated Shinsuke pretty easily with a power slam, and that was it, really. Nothing happened. It wasn't, a good match. I didn't really care, And I will say this, SmackDown's roster does need a reset. It needs a reset because, like I said, we've seen Strowman and Shinsuke Nakamura how many times this year when they were feuding earlier in the year over the IC Championship. Like, even though this wasn't a title match, like, I just hate when WWE repeats matches that we've already seen, on pay-per-view earlier in the year. I hate when they do that. It's one of their most uncreative traits. They do it all the time, and they did it again tonight. I didn't care about the match. It was whatever, but it just showed me that SmackDown really needs a reset on their roster. Also, a little side note, I don't think Sami Zayn was on television tonight. I don't know if I was just not paying attention, but I don't think Zayn was on television. Nakamura and Cesaro was, but I don't think Zayn was. I'm kind of hoping they do like a Sami Zayn and Drew Gulak program for the IC title, because I know Daniel Bryan's going to be gone for a little bit because he needs to re-sign his WWE contract, and we know that he's having his second child with Brie Bella, so he's going to be gone for a good amount of the summer. We'll probably see Daniel Bryan come back on the road to SummerSlam. But getting into Strowman and Wyatt, so after the match, we saw a Firefly Funhouse segment They gave us a very quick recap of the Firefly Funhouse match, and like I said, it was fantastic. No matter how you take it, I don't even know if to call it a match, but whatever you want to call it, Strowman and Cena was fantastic. Or not Strowman, Wyatt. My bad. Wyatt and Cena was fantastic, and yeah. And then basically Bray talked about Strowman, and I completely forgot about this. This is what actually kind of got me a little bit excited. Like I said earlier in the podcast, I am not excited for a Strowman and Bray Wyatt match at all. At all. Because Strowman sucks in the ring. Let's be serious here. But I am excited about the story they can tell. Remember, ever since Bray Wyatt became the Fiend, he's been, attacking those who he has history with. And he has a lot of history with Strowman because Strowman was a member of the Wyatt family when Strowman first came to WWE. And I completely forgot that. When I think of the Wyatt family, I think of, Wyatt. I think of Luke Harper, who's now in AEW. And I think of Eric Rowan, who's often catering on Monday Night Raw. And, this kind of got me a little bit excited because I forgot that Strowman was with the Wyatt family, and Wyatt came out and he was talking about, how you turn your back on me. They teased a Braun Strowman and Wyatt feud a couple years ago, but they were, Strowman was on Raw, Wyatt was on SmackDown, so the feud never actually took off. But definitely they were considering doing Wyatt and Strowman for the Universal Championship earlier this year. I'm kind of glad they held off on it. The only complaint I really have here is I wish Wyatt was still champion. Like I said, Wyatt should have never lost the title to Goldberg, especially, with what ended up happening with Roman. Wyatt should have beat Cena for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania, defeat Goldberg, and then started feuding with Strowman going to the summer. And then, I don't know when Roman's going to come back. But whenever Roman feels comfortable coming back, then you could probably do a Fiend and Roman program going to SummerSlam. And then if you decide to take the title off of Wyatt, then with Wyatt still technically being undefeated as the Fiend, I probably would have not been as mad because Wyatt would basically have gone a whole year at that point being undefeated. Because remember, last year at SummerSlam, this all started when he defeated Finn Balor. So it kind of would have been, ironic and symbolic for, for Wyatt's undefeated streak to end at SummerSlam. But the thing about it is they messed up. But I'm also willing to give WWE another shot because I feel like with what they did with the Firefly Funhouse match, it was kind of like a hard reset of the Fiend character. So I'm definitely willing to give them another shot. The only thing I really have to complain here is I believe the Fiend's to be champion and not Strowman. But it's honestly whatever. We got to take it for what it is and move on with our lives. But yeah, Wyatt talked about Strowman turning his back on his creator, and how, sharing is caring, and how Strowman's going to have to return, the Universal Championship back to him. We didn't see an appearance by the Fiend, but basically, he wanted Strowman to apologize, and that was about it. But then Strowman, as Wyatt's music is playing, Strowman gets back on the mic, and he starts talking a little bit like Mr. Rogers, Bray Wyatt. He's like, all you have to do, I'm willing, or Strowman saying, anytime, anywhere, you name the place, and I will let him in, and then he says, bye, can't wait to see you soon, Bray Wyatt. So I'm a little excited, just for the storyline purposes, because I think the Fiend does have a little bit of creative control over his character, especially after seeing the Firefly Funhouse match. I hope WWE gives, Bray Wyatt, control over what he does. I'm not talking about his booking, but in terms of how his storylines are mapped out. And we know why it's going after those who he has history with. He's taking, out Bryan, or Daniel Bryan. He's taking out Cena. He's taking care of Rollins. They're definitely going to do Bray versus Roman probably later this year, probably at SummerSlam. And I don't mind, Wyatt versus, Strowman. Like I said, I'm not excited for the match, but definitely the story here, Wyatt, getting revenge on Strowman for betraying his brothers and, you know, all of that, for leaving the Wyatt family. I could definitely see Wyatt crafting a good story out of that. And then this also being Wyatt getting back the title he should have never lost to Goldberg. So, I don't know. They'll most likely do this at Money in the Bank. You know, to see definitely they can, you know, take their time with this. Let this go into the summer months. And then eventually, maybe around June, you know, July at the latest, but probably around June, that's when we'll see Roman make his comeback, and then they'll probably start building towards Wyatt and Roman at SummerSlam. So I'm not against it. I'm not excited for the match, but the story is what I care about most here. So definitely, as long as Wyatt gets his title back, I'm in for Strowman and Wyatt. Because honestly, I forgot that Strowman was once a part of the Wyatt family. So when I saw that, I was like, okay, Strowman can use that to his advantage. Or not Strowman. Wyatt could definitely use that to his advantage in, you know, crafting this story. So we'll see what happens, you know, but that's definitely it. So other than that, guys, that's about all I got for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed the mini review. Like I said, we went through all the other stuff really quick. I just wanted to focus this mainly on Sasha and Bayley, the seeds being planted, and, you know, what's going on with Wyatt versus Strowman. I'm going to keep saying it. Sasha and Bayley, if told correctly, deserves to be the main event of WrestleMania. Not of WrestleMania, of SummerSlam this year in Sasha's hometown of Boston. Remember, it was basically decided once Becky and Ronda started feuding at Survivor Series back in 2018 that, you know, Becky versus Ronda was going to be the main event of WrestleMania. And then Charlotte got added. You know, Charlotte should have never been in that match to begin with. You know, don't get me started on Charlotte because, oh man, I'm still pissed off about Charlotte and Rhea Ripley. But, you know, if WWE had it already set in stone that Becky and Ronda were going to be in the main event of Mania, then I think it should already be set in stone that Sasha and Bayley are going to be in the main event of SummerSlam. That's the way I would do it. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks for joining me here on the Legit Shoot podcast. Once again, if you guys haven't checked out my other videos from this week, no matter if it's an anime video or my Monday Night Raw review or my WrestleMania review, Night 1 or Night 2, go check those out. I put out a lot of really good content for you guys this week. Hopefully to keep you guys entertained and busy, you know, while we're all sitting at home. Hopefully you guys are staying safe and healthy. Remember, guys, if you guys enjoyed the video, slap a like on this video, comment, subscribe if you guys are new to the channel, enable notifications by clicking the bell next to my name, FitzMonk TV, so you guys are notified every time I post a new video. Make sure to follow me on social media. Thanks to everyone that interacted with me on Twitter tonight as we live tweeted during SmackDown. I'll see you guys most likely for Monday Night Raw this Monday. That will probably be my next WWE video unless something changes. But definitely thank you guys for everything. Hopefully you guys stay safe. I love you guys. Peace.